Seems like everywhere I go, people are asking me, what is the secret to having $1 million business? How do I grow my business fast? How do I work less? How do I have a lot more fun? And you know what? It's kind of a paradox. That's what we're talking about today is the leadership paradox. Is there a secret to growing an amazing business? Well, it's actually not a secret. It's very well publicized. The problem is nobody's listening to the things that it really takes to grow a big business. They think, I got to get on AI, I have to do all these tools, I have to, add more products, I have to match my prices of my competitors, I need this framework and this structure, and now I should have a membership site and I should have a subscription, I should be on this platform. And it gets exhausting, doesn't it? And we're going to talk about, what do you really need to do to make your business soar? How do you really become an iconic leader? My name is Connie Scavella. I am your host today on Iconic TV Live, and I founded the Iconic Brands and Iconic Business Advisors to help entrepreneurs grow businesses that they're proud of, that they love, that they don't have to manage day and night, and a business that feeds you and your lifestyle, takes care of your family, instead of the other way around where you're feeding it all the time. So today, our topic is the leadership paradox. We're going to get started right now. Okay, so here we go. This is what we're going to talk about today, is why being a boss is actually costing you money. And most people figure, I don't know how to lead, I'm not sure what to do. Maybe you don't even have a team to lead. Then you're doing the most important leadership job of all. You are managing yourself. And the goal of that is, if you're managing yourself, you want to be able to then build the team, right? Because what leadership is in a fast growing, successful company, it's top down. It depends on the leader. And if you're not great at leading yourself, chances are you're not going to be great at leading a team either. So let's really dive into this. How do you manage this paradox? One of the things I always find fascinating, here's a paradox for you. If you're not sure what it is, we'll dive into what it is. How many of you have seen these life coaches that are 22, 23, right? How many of you have seen business coaches, people who are leading, I can help you grow this business, I can have your marketing amazing, but they never owned a company. My goodness, right? Now that is a paradox. I wish we could abolish that and make a law against that, but it's out there. And then what happens is people follow that because why? Marketing is really good. Some people have some really good, convincing marketing. You figure, must be true. I saw it on the internet. It's not true. Okay. So I want to break some of these myths, and I'm going to show you 5 things that you need to do as a leader that will completely change the game for you, so that you're not so stuck on the tactics and the hacks, but you're actually focused on the principles and strategies, which is all we talk about here. So let's go ahead and dive deeper into this topic. And we're going to talk about why you being the boss is really hurting your bottom line. And do you know that the reason people leave a company the most, 65% of the time, it's because of the leader, because of the person managing them. So you might not manage all of your people, but maybe the people that you put in place to manage them isn't doing the job. And that comes back to you, doesn't it? So how do we create an environment that builds growth and not fear? So leadership really has evolved. The problem is most leaders haven't evolved. They're still doing things back in the 80s, okay, when all the big leadership books came out. Things have changed. Things have evolved quite a bit, okay? And so this leadership paradox is what we're talking about. It's not what you think. It's not what you've heard it was all this time, okay? And you don't need to do those old techniques and practices that you were probably raised on as you were growing up in business. So let's kind of flip this model upside down and look at what it really does take in this new era, in this new model, And I'm going to give you a framework that'll help you grow your business faster. See, more leadership can often lead to less freedom. People get into business usually for freedom. Freedom of choice is what I always say. Why do you want more money? So you have the power of choice. You can decide what you want to do, what you don't want to do. And this is really one of the great paradoxes, right? And take a look at this. What are we talking about, right? The more decisions you have to make, the less space you have. If it all falls down to you, you become the bottleneck. So the more you direct, the less initiative people are going to take around you. And you think you're doing them a great service by telling them, do this, go here, right? Maybe you've been guilty of micromanaging. It's very unhealthy for your company. So we're going to flip all of these old rules of leadership around so you don't have to work as hard. If you become an amazing leader, you can build an amazing company. But if you're not a great leader, if you don't know how to take charge and step back, guess what? Your company will probably fall into nothingness in 5 years, like most companies, right? Because there's a hidden cost of this boss energy. I'm the boss, right? You're going to burn out. Guaranteed you're going to burn out. You can't keep up that pace forever. You also become the bottleneck. If you're insisting that all roads lead to you, you are not infallible. So you will probably break the system. And then the team becomes fragile. And the more fragile you become, the more fragile the team becomes. So this whole thing of me is completely not the way to go. Yes, you need the confidence of a leader and the charisma, but you don't need the hubris. You don't need to have everything land at your feet. So what about your leadership model? What is it that you do? Think about it. Put it down below. What is your model? Are you more of a manager or more of a mentor? Which style are you? And if you don't have a mentor in leadership, go find one. Come to us, talk to us. If you don't like working with us, we'll refer you to somebody that is your style. But you always need somebody to have a look at what you're doing, like, oh, that doesn't make sense, right? You don't need the yes men around you, right? You need somebody above you who's been there, who's handled all this before, who can give you some guidance. Mentorship is important. That's how you grow the fastest. And if you are not creating an environment for that in your company, people aren't going to grow within your business. And what are they going to do? They're going to go. Okay? So there are some hidden costs that nobody talks about. You can't measure them when it comes to the ROI of leadership. And so what are some of the costs that if you don't get this right is that your team is very confused. They might not tell you. You might not see it, but they are. They will hide mistakes from you. They won't communicate as well, right? Everyone's so afraid, right? They're walking on eggshells around you. You're fatigued, and your fatigue is just going to mirror to everybody else. Everything has to come to you for approval. This is a complete time waste. And reworks. Things have to be reworked and redone. And then you're like, you take it back, like, oh, I'll just do it better myself. No, you won't. Okay. Let them do it. Yes, it's your company, your baby, your process, and you're probably better than everybody else, but not in terms of doing everything. Okay. So there might be things you can do better, but you have to let others start to do them so that they can get a chance to become better than you. It's just like Henry Ford, when he built Ford. Remember, he was on trial for his company, well, you don't know this and you don't know this, because he had a 4th or 6th grade education. But he surrounded himself with leaders. And they said, do you actually know how to do this? And they gave him this complex problem. He goes, no, I don't know how to do it. But what I do know how to do is I know how to push a button and ring the right person who has that answer. And that's really great leadership. Look at this company. It's been around hundreds of years. That's what you want to build, is an iconic legacy company. But what are you really building? Here we come down to this paradox again. Are you a leader of authority or a leader of influence? Can you move people in the direction you want to go? Or do you more of like a hammer, right? Are you commanding, right? You have authority based on a position of power, but maybe not a position of respect. or where people actually understand you, know what to do, know how to follow your instructions and your roles and your rules. Because what's the myth of leadership? Following the old way. We've all heard this, right? Lead from the front. Yes, be the boss, right? Everybody follow me. You're the Pied Piper, okay? And make all the decisions. Everything has to come down to me, right? The buck stops with me. Not smart, all right? And hold on to the power. Don't let anyone take your power. Oh my gosh, that's fear-based leadership. Those are not things that we do in this day and age. Yes, these were shouted out, in the rafters all over the place before, but it doesn't work anymore. The whole culture of work has changed, and how people want to be led is different too. Why are people refusing to go back into the office? Because the leadership was so bad, right? They could be very well self-led at home, and if you can't do that, if you can't lead people from afar, you probably can't lead them when they're in your office. So, is your authority the bottleneck? Are you just like the puppet master with everybody? Or are you actually letting them run? Okay. Well, do you feel comfortable like untying the strings, letting people go out and discover things, fail, come back to you with feedback? Or do they come back to you and if they quote fail, remember failure is just feedback that's still in process. It's a failure if you quit. But if you're still going to find the solution, it's just feedback. It's not a failure. So, what kind of leader are you? Are you the bottleneck in your business? I've got a great tool for you if you are. If you want to take a quiz, I've got a little workbook that you can take the quiz, answer the questions that I put in there for you, and you'll find out your leadership style, how you can fix it, how you can edit and audit it. And it's all free. All you have to do is type down below leadership audit, and I'm going to give you a QR code at the end so you can grab that. It is 100% free for you. Okay. So, influence or authority? Well, where's the power? It's not in the authority, it's in the influence. Do you have the power, the ability to influence people? Sometimes just by your presence, you can influence people. You don't have to sometimes say a word, and you can have incredible influence. These kind of people, they walk into a room and heads turn, and people are like, wow, who is that? You can feel the energy off of that person, right? And you can feel true leadership and forced leadership. People are a lot smarter than we're giving them credit for. So you have to up your game if you want your people to up their game as well. And I know there's always a formula, right? As a physics major, I always like, what's the science behind it? How does this actually work? How do we turn a theory, a concept into reality? So you have to have clarity and ownership. Clarity. And when you look at our book, SOAR, right? A lot of our management and leadership principles are based on this book. If you want a copy of it, you can always get it on Amazon, but I'd be happy to give you a free copy. And all you have to do is type SOAR down below, and I will reach out to you and get you a free copy of the book. And each one of these letters, SOAR, is an acronym that you can use to run and manage your business in an amazing way and shortcut it from 6 to 7 figures in a year or less. So, singularity is that first part. It's being singularly focused on one thing. Do people know what is the one thing that they have to focus on? Do you have absolute clarity for your clients, for your customers, for your teammates, for your vendors and suppliers, exactly what you do? Is it really clear what you do and what you want them to do? And then ownership. That's the O in SOAR. Taking ownership. What is your responsibility? You have to take ownership for yourself, but your people need ownership. Give them the license to take ownership of what they're doing. Create an environment in your business of entrepreneurship where everybody is the entrepreneur of their own region, right? You give those two things and you have the influence, okay? So, can you do that? That's the question. Go ahead and write workbook or audit down below. I'll get you the leadership audit, and then you can take the quiz for yourself, okay? So here's what you need to understand before I show you the 5 mistakes that you're probably doing as a leader and how to fix it with the right framework. So you don't need to have all the answers, okay? Because if you feel like you do, you're probably going to be living in a state of constant inferiority and imposter syndrome. And what you want to do is you need to build up people who will find the answers. You don't need to have them. You need to give them the agency, the authority to go find them. So here is the new leadership framework. So take a look at this, and here's the 5 parts, and it ties to the 5 mistakes that I'm going to show you in a second. So you need to have a very clear vision. You need to have an establishment of trust in your company, that you trust your people, and that they can trust that they can make mistakes, learn, grow in your business. Absolute clarity we've talked about. And what is the culture, right? How you are, how you're building all of this is going to be vital to the culture that you build. And it's that culture that makes people stay. It's the culture that builds the longevity of your business. And then the outcomes. Are the outcomes clear as to what you want your people to do, what you're trying to create as a business? So when you have that framework, then it's really easy to build an iconic company that lasts. So let's dive deep into the fun part, okay? Again, I'm going to give you a workbook. All you have to do is type leadership audit down below or workbook down below. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe here so that you can get notified every time we come here on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. And every week, we give you strategies and principles to grow and scale your business. And then we also give you a tool or a resource that you can actually use to implement this right away, because it does you no good if you're just watching, but you're not doing anything. Because I guarantee you're probably watching a lot of other things other than me. I don't know why, but you might be. But do the actions, take actions, okay? So, and if there's something that you want me to do a show on, a strategy, principle, or how do I do this, ask me a question in the comments down below, and I'm more than happy to either bring you on or answer your question and notify you when we do. So, in the last few minutes that we have together, let's go into the 5 mistakes that founders make as leaders. So, mistake number 1 is hoarding decisions. Okay, are you a hoarder of decisions? Are you trying to keep everything for yourself? I'm going to decide, or you'll get people's feedback. And now this isn't just you, by the way. Look at your team of leaders and managers. Sometimes they do this and you might not even be aware of it. And people below them might have great ideas, but they're stealing them as theirs. Don't let that happen in your company. That becomes a cancer in your organization and you lose the trust, which is one part of that 5-part framework. So what you need to do is you need to make fewer decisions better. Okay? Fewer decisions better, not more decisions faster. Okay, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Like some of the things people fear in a company is when their leaders go off to a conference or maybe take a workshop and then they come back and all they do is decision so fast. Yes, it's important to take action quickly, but the right action. And most people don't do that. Then they just pile on more work. Make fewer decisions better. We always say in order to soar, you need to do less, not more. Mistake number 2. Mistake number 2 is leading from ego. Just because you are the leader, the boss, the owner, the founder, doesn't mean you're the best. Let go of some of that ego, okay? And we always say ego stands for everything gets overruled. And if that's how you're leading, like, no, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. We've done that before. No, yes, right? If it has to all, again, come to you, it's a problem. So you don't need to be right. Okay, that's going to keep your team small. Let them have some decisions. Sometimes you might know the answer, but let them come up with it. It makes a great difference. Okay, lead through curiosity. That builds innovation. Like, hey, what do you guys think? Let me get your input on this. And the more they contribute, the more they feel they have ownership in this enterprise that you're building, and they will want to stay. They want to see it grow. Nobody wants to be on board a sinking ship. They want to be on a rocket ship. And that is why you need to build this kind of a culture. Get your ego out of the way. It serves no purpose. Now let's go into mistake number 3, managing tasks, not the vision. most people don't even know what their vision is of the company or the company's leader. There might be some board or picture that says this is our mission and our vision, but it's not enforced, it's not known. And then what happens? You are running a company based on rules, not a vision. Your job isn't to make checklists for everybody. Your job is to enhance the culture so that they want to stay. Okay. Not more what to do, but more why we do this. Now, let's go to mistake number 4. Okay. Confusing direction for clarity. If your team is always asking, hey, what do we do today? What do you want me to do with this? How do I do this? You have a messaging problem. It's not a talent problem. It's not that you have to tell everybody what to do. No, that comes back to you. And that falls on your shoulders. So if everybody is like, how do I do this? How do I do this? They feel that you haven't unhooked the chain for them, that they can go a little bit farther and stretch a little bit outside the boundaries and color outside the lines in order to make this a vibrant company. So your messaging is off. And not just the verbal messaging, the written messaging, but the unspoken words, the essence of who you are, how you behave, how you reward things, what you withhold. These are all parts of messaging. So again, it's not the people, it's the messenger. And let's go now to mistake number 5. No feedback culture. People love approval and praise and recognition more than money. Everyone wants money. They want a lot of money. They want even more of it when you don't recognize them for the good work that they do. And when you're doing something that you love and that's appreciated, you will do it. Sometimes people would say, God, I'd do that for free, right? Imagine if you could build a culture where people would say, I'd work there for free. That's what you want to come out with. But if you're not giving people feedback, you're not going to instill that in your company. And so the best teams grow through feedback. Let them know, how am I doing? That's what's going to build them confidence, right? Give them feedback upward, downward, sideways, peers giving feedback, right? The newest person on the team giving feedback to the top leaders, and how is my onboarding, and the top people giving feedback, right? Create recognition systems wherever you can in your business, and you will be amazed at how fast the company grows. And one of the best things you can do is find people to recognize, find the best people in your company and ask them, who could you bring in? Who do they know? Let them find more people like they are, so you can have more people that all kind of fit together in that same style, right? It just becomes a great family. And you want to make your business a family, not a dysfunctional family like most people grow up in, but your own family where people actually get along, support one another, praise one another, and still there's a spirit of competition. You can't get rid of that. That's not what we're trying to do. We're not just all sitting around going kumbaya. Oh, no, you go first. No, you go first. That is not a company, right? You want that spirit of competition. I always say look for the most intelligent people that you can find, and also look for people who either started a business very young or were in athletics early. And these are traits and habits and disciplines that carry forth into the business world. So if you just want to know, well, I can't find the right people, look for those 2 things. Athletes who are smart. I know, it sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? But they're out there, and when you can find them, they are a diamond in the rough. So what is your goal? Your goal is exactly what we say with SOAR all the time: do less, not more, right? Don't lead more, lead better. If you don't know how to lead better, then come talk to us. We can point you in the right directions. We have so many resources. Right now, we have over 275 different resources that we can give you for free to help you grow your leadership skills, grow your company, grow your leaders within your company. So wherever your business is, we can help you from the bottom level of people to the very top C-suite level. And that's what you want to figure out. How do I become better? Excellence in leadership is everything, right? Don't wing it. People can tell when you're winging it. So, reframe leadership as a design. It is something that you don't wake up or get born with being a true leader. It's by design that you become that. And if you don't have a framework for that, if you don't have a process or feedback mechanism for yourself to become a great leader, then let us know, okay? And make sure you do that. This way, your business can grow without you, okay? So, those are the 5 mistakes that leaders make. And if you want the influence audit workbook, I would love to get that in your hands and you can take this quiz. You can find out exactly what your leadership style is, which of these 5 mistakes you are making, because they will cost you. And remember, there's hidden costs to making these mistakes. Things that you can't measure, and then you're wondering, why is my business not growing? Most businesses grow and then they flatten, and then they're at that strategic inflection point. They're either going to revamp, rework, and start growing again, or they're going to try to do the same old thing and then they go down. That's why you see this roller coaster effect, right? And if you were in that place, this strategic inflection point where it was all going so good a couple of years ago and now it feels flat and you want to blame the economy or the politicians or the weather, it's you. It's always you. That has nothing to do with it. You are the fulcrum of whether your business is going to scale or fail. And if you want to scale and you want to grow fast, then go ahead and get the workbook and then call us. Go to callconnie.com. We will be happy to help you out and figure out what is the one thing that you could do right now that would clear away all the clutter in your business and clear out that runway so that your business can become not a roller coaster, but a rocket ship. So if you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments, what did you like? What do you need more of? And I want you to go ahead and subscribe, because we're here every Tuesday to give you these strategies, these principles that make it so easy for you to grow your business. Remember, it's not hard to grow a business. And it's easier to grow a multi-million-dollar business than to just try to get something to $100,000. So if you will follow these strategies, come back every week, I promise you your business will grow. And if you need any help, just go to callconnie.com and we'll put all of that link down below. And we are more than happy to get you all the tools, all the resources that you need, and grow your business. We will see you next week, Tuesday, 5 o'clock. Be iconic.